Welcome everybody to today's live stream. Hope everybody's doing good today. So we're going to be turning up a mallet handle, or I guess brass hammer handle. I got one of these kits sent to me with that aluminum stuff, the aluminum shavings from Stainless Bottle Stoppers. They sent me a couple extra goodies in that goodie box. So I figured let's turn up a handle and see how this thing looks on a brass mallet. I'm really excited to see how that spirally aluminum looks. So for anybody that didn't, oh, that's the wrong picture. Oops. For anybody that didn't see the thumbnail, we have we just did blue transparent resin, and we have aluminum, like the curly stuff. I think I might have some of this. Yeah, I got some in the shop. Right here. So we cast some of this stuff, and I still have some, obviously. So we're going to be seeing how this stuff works out today. And you can see here's the project that's going to be up. The video should be up this weekend. I'm still working on it, but really happy with this piece. It turned out pretty awesome. So be looking for that on Sunday. I just wanted to kind of set it up here so I could kind of show it off. It's kind of a cool piece. It just kind of sits on this little base, and there's an LED light. Not too bad. You can change the lights and flash it and strobe it and do all kinds of good stuff. So I don't know if you guys can see the colors in there. Kind of an interesting, fun piece. So that's what I've been working on lately, trying to get that thing wrapped up. So finally that thing's done, so I can actually get other projects done on the lathe. I think I'm going to start doing some smaller projects, because, you know, some pens and stuff like that, because these bigger projects just take a while sometimes. So let me stop and see who's here. Super Incognito's here. I saw him. He was early. And Kim's here. We got Jeff and Kid Cooper's here. Hodgepodge. Jen's here. How's it going? And Klondike and Dustin. Man, lots of people. Christina's here. Party. Didn't anyone say party? Yeah, we're having a party. It's a turn-in party. So usually I do resin casting stuff on Fridays, but I really don't need any more blanks. I have so many projects, like blanks and stuff that we've made, that really need to get turned. So I thought, let's just do a turning thing on this Friday. And then just at the beginning here, I wanted to kind of mention that pretty much until the end of the year, the live streaming schedule is going to be kind of weird. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do next week. I believe, what day is next week? What's going on? Yeah, so next Friday is Christmas, so probably not going to be streaming on Christmas. So it's just going to be kind of weird. I'm probably going to do a stream next week, because I actually have a new camera. Where did I put that thing? Well, I didn't buy one. I rented a different camera that I want to try out, because I'm not particularly happy with that like Sony or I mean Canon Handycam thing. It's an RF8 or HFR 800. So I decided to rent a Sony. This is a mirrorless camera, and it should work really well for streaming, and it can hopefully do better in low light situations. And I don't know. I've been doing a lot of research trying to find something that might work a little bit better than that other camera. So sometime, and I don't know how many, I think I have that thing for 2 weeks. I rented it. So I want to do some stream testing. So we'll do something. I'm not sure what. And one other thing, sometime before probably the end of the year, you guys might remember a box of blanks that were supposed to be, that were won for the 50,000 subscriber giveaway. That guy never contacted me. So unfortunately, Tony lost out. And we still have a giant box of blanks that need to be given away. So I thought this time, just to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to do one on the live stream and somehow kind of pick somebody from the actual that shows up live. That way I can get your information and you know you won. It'll just be a little bit easier. So we'll do kind of an end of the year giveaway kind of thing. Unfortunately, I hope Tony's okay. Tony J was the winner. I don't know what happened. He never contacted me, never even left a comment in that video. So, oh well, someone else gets to win the blanks. But like I said, I hope he's okay. I don't know what happened to him. Haven't seen him yet. So, anyway, let's see here. Yeah, you use an A6000. Yeah, the Sony cameras are pretty cool, and I'm actually kind of, I had a DSLR camera. It was a T3i Canon, when I first started making YouTube videos, that's what I used. And I've switched to, for just regular videos, I just use an iPhone now. It's much easier. It works really well. It's like a really good camera, way better than that DSLR, especially if you aren't like a professional cameraman, photographer. I didn't really know exactly what I was doing with all the manual settings. So the iPhone works a lot better, but for streaming, you need something else. But I'm unhappy. I'm really just, it's really fuzzy. It seems like that one camera, and I don't know. So the mirrorless cameras, I never really looked at those, but they're actually pretty cool. You can do streaming with it. It has interchangeable lenses, so you could do all kinds of different just photography or video type work. It's got a flip up like screen thing, so you can like do selfie type, you know, which is what I would want for over on top of the resin casting area. I want to see the screen. That's why I like the Handycam, because it has a flip out thing. So it has a lot of advantages. I might even use it for some astrophotography. So, but the thing is, it has to work for streaming really well. Otherwise, I'm not spending the $800 or whatever on a new camera. So anyway, I'll quit yakking. Let's get over to the lathe. And I'm also going to move this, before I start, I want to move this pine cone lamp thing. I'm pretty excited about that video. I really had to cut down a lot. I had so much footage. I did a lot of things in that video. I used a steady rest. I used the Trent Bosch hollowing system, you know, like their hollowing stabilizer bar thing. The slow turning motor is in there, you know, finishing with an epoxy finish. There's just a lot of things in that video, and it ended up going really long. So I had to cut out quite a bit, and it's still pretty long. But I am going to do a separate video on the slow turning motor thing eventually. Just so that everybody can kind of see. That video was so long, I really had to cut out a ton. So, you know, things happen. All right, so I got my tool rest, but we don't need that yet. First things first, what I have is this is just chucked up into the chuck here. And what I'm going to do, let's see here, let me think about this. I don't really think that I need to mess around with putting a tenon and all this stuff on. I think I'm just going to leave it in here. It doesn't have a tenon on it, which is not the greatest way to hold, but I think it's a pretty tight hold, even though I didn't put the little tenon, you know, do like the little dovetail on there. I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to kind of true this up a little bit. But what we're going to do first is actually we're going to use a Forstner bit to flatten this end. This is going to be where the hammer head is. So let me kind of show you guys, for anybody that doesn't know what we're doing here. So this is the brass hammer kit, and inside here, and this is from Stainless Bottle Stoppers makes these, and I have a link in the show notes already to where you can get these on Turner's Warehouse, one of my affiliate links. So basically this is going to be the hammer head. The first time I already did a video with this, and I kind of messed up on the work holding stuff. But we're going to just keep it in one position. We're going to drill a hole for the stem to mount it. Let me just stop real quick and show you guys what all we have to do. Obviously, we need to shape the handle, but in the kit, you have a knurled, you know, like a little brass insert thing. You have a stem here, and you have a ferrule. Okay, so let me go grab one for anybody that doesn't know what exactly this looks like. And they got two sizes of hammers. This one's the larger one. They have a smaller one. So this is what we're doing basically. Anybody that didn't see the video that I did already, I did a video making this one. So what we're going to end up with is this. All right, so you're going to have your threaded rod. You're going to have a ferrule that we need to fit. That brass insert gets glued into that hole, and then everything just goes together, you know, screws together. So first thing I want to do is, like I said, flatten this, and then we're going to start drilling the holes. You need to do 2 holes. The first hole you want to drill so that this stem will fit all the way down in there. Second hole is going to be 1/2 inch. I believe it's 1/2 inch. I actually wrote notes so I didn't mess this. Totally messed it. Yeah, 1/2 inch for the brass insert. All right, and then once we have all that stuff, we're going to glue the insert in, And then I'm just going to put tailstock pressure to keep it glued in and just leave it there. And then we'll start turning it. But then the next important thing is we need to fit the ferrule on the end. So turn it down so that this thing fits on there, and then we'll be good to go. All right. So let me get my phone out too. I forgot to. I haven't streamed for a while, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. So YouTube. Let me find my channel real quick. And then I can see the comments. More people are coming. Midnight Jokers here. Sweet. Doug's rolling around on the floor with puppies. Oh, man. Kid Cooper's doing well. Ready for Christmas with the kiddos. Nice. Yeah. That's the other thing. I haven't really been very active on social media because I've been actually trying to get stuff ready for Christmas and, oh man, all kinds of stuff going on. And also, I'll be honest, I've been kind of just relaxing a little bit. It's been kind of nice. So first thing, I'm going to grab a Forstner bit. Let's see here. Yeah, this one's a 3/4, I believe, or 1 inch. 1 inch. That'll be plenty. That'll get a nice perpendicular flat surface on this, so that when we put everything together, it'll be, 90 degrees. You won't have any weird. Won't be sitting funky. Hopefully I won't mess this up. This is a little bit more technical than like a bottle stopper, and I've only made one of these. So, sometimes you gotta just hope. Might kind of take it a little bit slow. Actually, like I said, I reviewed my video that I already made on this thing, and then kind of wrote down some notes. So I would hopefully get this right. So number one, my first step is, like I said, flatten the end with a Forstner bit. All right, so I think I'm going to move you guys around, so don't look at the screen real quick here. I'll move you guys to this side so that we're not battling each other. Get this camera plugged in also. Maybe. Where's the plug? There we go. Got our camera plugged in. Everything's going to be good to go now. All right. I'm going to turn this light on because it just helps me. It's a little bit dark over in this corner, so hopefully it won't mess up that camera too much. I don't know. It's a live stream. What you going to do? I'm hoping that new camera, or if I get, that other camera, I'm hoping that might, I don't know, make things a little bit more crisp for the streams. All right, so I just got it chucked up in my Easy Chuck, running it about 500 or so, something right around there. Like I said, all we're doing is just putting a flat on this. You just want to flatten that end and get it perpendicular. You can come in with a tool if you wanted. I find that especially if you got something just hanging out of a chuck, putting the pressure with a drill bit straight into it is kind of the best way to go. All right, now next we need a 23/32 drill bit, I believe. 23/32. And what that's going to be is it's just going to be barely like just about the diameter of the actual threads on this stem. And that way you don't need to tap it or anything. It'll self-tap, but it's not the size that you would use to tap threads for this post. It's a little bit bigger. It just barely, fits. So it'll be snug in there. But you have a little hex key. There's a little hexagon thing there. And so you can even, grab an Allen wrench and tighten it in there. You probably shouldn't really need to. It'll just be nice to be able to use that as like a leverage, but it shouldn't really be too tough, I don't think. All right, so you can just kind of twist it in once you've drilled that. So what we need to do is, this hole needs to be definitely deep enough. So I'm actually going to go, I think this is 2 inches long. Let me measure this so it's about 2 inches. I'm going to go about 2 1/8 deep, just to make sure that there's plenty of room cleared out, that it fits all the way in there. What am I doing? Drill bits, where are they? 23, 30 seconds, kind of an odd one. 23, where are we at here? Do I not have that? Is it 23/64? I think it's 23/64 actually. Hold on a minute, guys. See, I thought that I did the research. That's what I put in my video. 365, 370. That's going to be a little bit over. Sorry guys, I'm checking out the diameter of these threads here. So this thing's miking in at about 374, 3. I want to find a drill bit. That's way too low. So yeah, I guess 23/64 must be. So I was off by a hair. 23/64. Yeah, that's right. Okay. 23/64. Not 23/32. Okay. 30 seconds, 64ths, you know, whatever. It's one of those guys. All right. So like I said, again, I need to go in about 2 1/8, 2 inches, 2 1/8 inch. What I'm going to do is mark on this drill bit how far I need to actually go. About. Okay, so we got that. We're back ready to rock here. Now this thing's got some aluminum in it, so you know there is possibilities that this is not going to go super smooth, especially since it's kind of offset. I'm going to kind of take my time, and hopefully everything will go good. Should be fine, but you know. Kind of hear it, it's like kind of sort of chattering because it's hitting that metal here and there. No big deal. It's going smooth. Got my mark right there. You know, the more I think about it, 23/30 seconds is it's like close to 1. Isn't it? Am I thinking about the math wrong? Definitely don't want to hold that big. Okay, that ought to be deep enough. hopefully this works right the way that I wanted it to. Let me grab my little Allen key here. And I think this is actually the same if you have the like Thompson lathe tools. It's a very common one, or the Carter. I think it's that size. Yeah, it goes in easy. So I just want to make sure that this kind of fits where it needs to be. Actually, you know what? You don't even need to go in 2 inches. I wasn't thinking. See, this is the problem. If you haven't done a kit for a while, or you've only done it like once, you really only need to drill it so far. Like you're gonna need these threads sticking out. So like I said, like I always say, don't follow me for turning advice. I'm still winging it. No, this thing's not very tight. It's okay. Yeah, so that threads in very nicely. It's not hard. But I'm going to have to re-tighten my chuck here because this blank is loose. So it might have been a better idea to put a tenon on this. It'd definitely grab better. But I think if I just tighten it down real well, I think I'll be fine. For the most part, it's going to be between centers the whole time anyway. Now, if you're one of the people that hates seeing threads and drill stuff, then you might want to, you know, like color paint the threads in there or something like that. Or maybe even go with a blank that, like one option you could do is you could even glue, you could either pour, you know, a solid color down here or just glue on a solid color blank to hide all your threads down there if you wanted to. I don't mind seeing the threads personally. I think it's kind of cool, but I know some people really hate it. So if you're one of those people, then definitely cover up that drill hole. All right, so then we got to come in with a 1/2 inch. I need to tighten that blank up first before I start drilling more on this thing. But we got our 1/2 inch bit in there. Actually, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my live center, put a little bit of pressure on that blank in that hole so that it's sitting correct. Just to make sure everything's good to go. And then I'm going to run it just to make sure. And I'm going to tighten the heck out of this thing. Yeah, that was pretty loose. Okay, should be good to go now. And what am I doing? Where's my drill chuck? Did I get my drill press? No. And actually, I just called. I looked it up. I actually ordered it. So I ordered one of the Nova Voyager drill presses in June. And they were like, oh, you're not going to get it till like October. Well, it's almost the end of the year now. So that's exciting. But I called and they're like, yeah, we still don't have them. Someday. All right, now this is one where you want to, like I said, I way overshot that first drill hole, so that kind of sucks. But this one, you really want to sneak up on it and get this thing to be just flush with the face, okay? So it's about 5/8, I think, is the depth of this thing. Let me, and actually, I don't know what let me just use a ruler. Yeah, it's like 5/8. But it's best to just kind of sneak up on this hole so you can get this thing nice and flush. Kind of going slow. Hopefully I didn't go too far on that. I don't think I did. And one little kind of trick here is you can kind of screw this thing in here. Let me fix, there we go. Screw this guy in a little bit. That way you can just use that to kind of test it. Now we definitely still got about a 1/4 inch to go. I think I marked on this bit about where I need to drill it to. It's always a good idea to give yourself a little bit of a guide mark whenever possible. Just so you don't take off too much. Just a little bit, so we'll just sneak up on it now. A little bit more. Take your time, no rush. Ooh, that's looking pretty good right there, I think. If you want to get like super crazy about it, you can grab a like a ruler or something like that and kind of see. I think I went a little bit deeper than flush, possibly, but it's pretty close, pretty darn close. So good to go there. So what I'm going to do now is we're actually going to glue this in and then just leave it in place. And I'm going to use my live center to keep glue, you know, the pressure on it. Rather than like waiting overnight, we can just glue this in and then, you know, bring up a live center to hold it in there, because we need to hold it. You know, I want the live center up when I'm turning this. And so you don't really need to stop necessarily. This is one case where you can get away with just gluing it in and continuing the project, which I really like that. So let me get some 5-minute epoxy. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Rich. Yeah, he was going to call, the guy in Reno was going to call and see. I know, I've heard that there's been some not shortages, but delays on a lot of tools. Luckily, it's not that big of a deal. I have a drill press if I need to make some holes. but I am looking forward to that. I definitely like the DVR motors. They're great. I think it's going to be a good drill press. Has some interesting features that you can't find on any other brand. But that, I kind of looked around at different ones. I was looking at the Powermatic as well. And I don't know, looking at reviews on that, there were some that weren't really that good. And I don't know about other ones. Those were the only two that I really kind of thought I might buy. Let's see, we need some, I'm going to get a little cup to mix my epoxy in. Yeah, yeah, Midnight Joker, I'm curious to see what what this aluminum, I don't know what it came from. The guys at Dan over at Stainless Bottle Stoppers sent it. And I don't know, they said they were running something. I don't think they run, obviously they have stainless steel typically that they're running, but they ran some aluminum, so I'm not sure exactly what they were making. Probably a pretty big hole though. So I'm just doing 5-minute epoxy here. I like these little cups. It kind of keeps everything contained. But one thing you can do is just grab like a piece of paper or something like that and just mix it on there. I like fancy cups. I got like 50,000 of these little condiment cups. They're very useful for a lot of different things. Hopefully I'm on camera. Yep. Mix this up, and then I'm just going to paint it on, like I said, on the inside there, and then also I'm going to put a little bit on the nut itself. I kind of like putting the glue on two, both surfaces. I mean, technically it should end up on both anyway, but call me superstitious. Okay. And again, this little stem post thing is nice because you can use it to put it in and out, so you're not trying to hold this thing. So I'm just going to put some glue on here, on the nut itself, and then paint some around in that hole. I do that right? Yeah. Work it around, make sure it's on. I've gotten it on all, the entire surface in here. Okay, in you go. Oops. And then I'm going to wipe off the end of this. And what I'm going to do with my live center is I'm actually going to put on some paste wax onto the actual cone, just to make sure that, no, it doesn't glue. I don't want to glue my blank to my live center. I'm just going to kind of wipe this off around the edge here. And then, let's see. And so we got our live center. What I'm going to do is just put a little bit of paste wax on the end of that thing, just to make sure. All right, so I just had some Renaissance wax down there. I'm going to put a healthy amount of it on my cone here. Probably not going to be a problem, but it's not going to hurt anything putting a little wax on there either. Okay, so we're ready to turn now. So the next step is, like I said, I kind of messed up the the drill hole for the stem part. I went a little bit too deep on that. What you're going to want to do for that, I just totally forgot about it. You're going to want to subtract how much needs to go into the hammerhead. That's what I didn't do. So I took the whole length of this post, but didn't account for the part that's going to go in the hammer itself. So, oopsies. Not that big of a deal. Where did I put there's the stem. Okay. All right, so get our live center up here. Give that a little pressure. That'll hold that thing in there while the glue's setting up. We can turn, move on, and not have to worry about it. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra. We went and saw them in Vegas one time. It was pretty cool. Interesting. All right, so I don't think I'm missing anything in the chat. So the next step is we need to fit this. And what I'm probably going to do is true this whole thing up real quick just so it's not wobbling. And then we need to fit the ferrule on. So we're going to have to take the material down so that this will fit, on there. And also the correct width of it as well. So let's get to it here. I'm going to turn my little fan on behind me just a little bit, just to kind of blow the shavings away. One thing, next week I think I might, just because I just walked by these things, I want to see what these things look like with the pen blanks. So I think that's what I might do sometime next week. And I'll be testing that other camera out. So we might try and turn a pen out of one of those guys next week. I don't know what day or whatever. It's probably going to be kind of just spur of the moment. Whatever day works best for me. That we're not doing like family things and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so let's get our carbide. Oh, and I think Easywood tools, they're like, I think everything that they sell, I think they're going to be on sale for like 10% off. What was the days? Let me look that up. They posted on Instagram, and so you can get that stuff at Turner's Warehouse. What was it? Let's see here. So the dates are, oh, I guess that's only at Blackwater River Tools. Oh. I didn't read that part. Blackwater River Tools. Blackwatertools.com. Easywood Tools stuff is 10% off. So I totally screwed that up. Oops. Oh well. Can't win them all. Oh, and I also got, there's going to be a discount code coming up soon from Alumilite. They're giving me like kind of a personal code, and it's going to be a fat discount. So I think it's coming up in the next couple of days. So keep an eye on my Instagram and Facebook for that. It's going to be a good discount. And it's not going to be like a one-time use type thing. So if you need to place multiple orders, you can do so. Can you guys see? Probably not. I'm going to bring the camera back around so you can kind of, oh, we're plugged in. Really wish that we could figure out the wireless power thing. The Tesla wireless power. That would be so convenient for powering all these electronic devices. Okay, there, so now you guys can see what I'm doing. We're just truing this guy up. I'm using a negative rake CI3 cutter. This is the mini handle. This is like, this size, the mini size, is a really good size. I don't know, you can really get in on like, it's good enough for small things like pens, but you can even get onto like, do quite a bit of work with larger blanks. So if you're looking for like one size, this is a pretty good size, the minis. Now, one thing, if you have metal chunks in your blank, try to resist the urge to feel the blank while it's spinning. You wouldn't want that stuff to cut you if there's something kind of hanging out there, I know it's tempting, and I may end up doing it on accident here and there, but it's always best to not grab a hold of the blank when it's spinning still. You got metal stuff in there. All right, so we need to come in the end of this blank. We got a long ways to go, but we need to measure the inside of this thing. So what I'm going to do is grab my calipers here. We're looking at looks like about 3/4, 750. All right, so is that right? I'm not messing those numbers up for some reason. Yeah, so you're looking at about a 3/4 inch diameter is what we need to go for. One kind of interesting trick. I don't know if I do this on this, but if you're coming down to 3/4 or 9/16, you can actually just use an end wrench. When you're with your parting tool, to just get that dead on. The thing is, this really needs to be absolutely tight, so I don't think I really want to just mess around with that. I like to take my time a little bit, so I think I'm just going to come in here with the regular square cutter. I'm going to put a face mask on, because this is the regular cutter, just in case we get a little bit of a catch or something. Who knows? I really like the square regular cutter for doing this kind of stuff. Just handles it pretty well. Now, you don't need to use carbide, with aluminum stuff. Your high-speed steel tools will cut aluminum just fine as well. Just to let everybody know, it shouldn't really be. Maybe it'll dull them a little bit quicker, but I don't think it's really going to be difficult in that regard. Now the other thing is we got to see how wide this thing is. So just a couple more little passes here. Oh, what the heck? I had the little ferrule up on my. Did you guys see that? No, I don't think you did. I had the ferrule sitting on top of my headstock, and the shavings flipped it off. Put that somewhere else. There may be better little tricks and things to sneak up on these, but doing this kind of stuff, but I usually just kind of wing it. If anybody's got any tricks worth sharing, share away. That's pretty close right there. Just a little bit more. I'm going to make sure, you want to make sure that you're coming in square as well. So it's not a bad idea to put a light on when you're doing this. Has anybody bought the Laguna LED light things yet? I'm interested in those. Chad said that they're pretty sweet. They got them at Turner's Warehouse. All right, so we're looking pretty good on the width of that now too. So let's bring this down. So where are we at here? Oh, I almost dropped my. Almost dropped. We got a long ways to go. Okay. Shavings are getting out of control. Oh my gosh. So once you take care of all this kind of fitting and finagling of things, then all you got to do is just, simply shape the handle. There's just a couple things, with the drilling and the ferrule fitting. that are a little bit more, they're not just, you know, free form, slap something on there and turn it kind of things. Now I'm going to probably run into an issue here with this square cutter. My cone is kind of in the way. So I'm actually going to look and see. I might have a different live center that might work better. Yeah, I think that'll work better. So we're actually I'm going to switch these things out. Sometimes the low profile, it's nice to have a couple different types of live centers. You can also use, you know, I have the, I don't know if this thing, you could probably use this cone even that's in here. That might work as well. But I think this one's actually skinnier. That ought to get me in there a little bit better. Hopefully. All right. Oh, my phone shut off. Come on, guys. That's why. All right, here we go. I'm back. Well, yeah, I didn't like the original Laguna, their halogens. Those things were way overpriced. I'm not sure what the LEDs are. They may be pretty expensive. I mean, but I mean, I paid $160 for this light too. So what I like about them is I like this type, having like a spot, like a really fine beam spotlight, and it's super high intensity. This really helps to see the surface and see like scratches and things. However, a lot of times you just need light on it, you know, and these ones are great, but I'm kind of curious to see how the Laguna ones, like it'll be kind of like an LED like this, and they have arms and they're just meant to go on a lathe, you know, so one of those things where sometimes I don't really have a problem paying a little bit extra if it works really well without me having to finagle a bunch of different things going, you know. It'll just work. All right, so we're sneaking up on this guy now, getting in there. And you can just, you know, once you get really close, you can just take it off and see if the thing fits. I'm only going to take off a little bit on the end there, just see if. So we're basically we need to take the thickness away of that ferrule at this point. Can you guys see what's going on here? Oh, cords are stuck. Let's get you guys down in there. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Pretty close to that center, but got a little room. Uh-oh. This is where we sneak. We're sneaking. Flaming Turn is asking is this camera the fuzzy one? Yeah. I did kind of play around with a few settings. So I don't know, maybe it's a little better. Shush. Why won't it work? There we go. Sorry. Yeah, actually that doesn't look too bad. Huh. That's actually looking not too bad, but I'm curious to see how that Sony works, because those things, there's a lot of people that use those for streaming, and the pictures look fabulous. And I'll probably upgrade to 60p, 60 frames per second. If that, like I said, if that does work, if it does turn out that camera is going to work for me, if I like it, if it's an improvement. So that'll be kind of nice. I don't think this one, I don't know. I don't think this one shoots 60 frames. The sneaking up stuff, man. The drive center keeps getting stuck in the tailstock? I don't think I've... Like the live center? Is that what you mean? Ooh. It's almost there. The sneaking up stuff always gets me. Whoa. Okay, let's see how we did. If it's a little bit loose, you can always kind of taper it, you know, but it's good to just take a little bit, like an 1/8 inch, and try and get that fit. We still need to take a little bit more off, but if you kind of take a little bit too much, then just taper the rest of that up so that it'll kind of fit snug, even though the very tip is a little bit loose. There we go. It's a little bit loose. We're going to glue this on anyway. Not that big of a deal. If you're zoomed in, the picture can go fuzzy. Yeah, well, that light blows things out on that camera. But it just in the dark, what I've found is the HFR 800, I think is what that is. They don't really do too well in low lighting. They're very fuzzy. But the Sonys are really good in low lighting. The Sony, like the 5100, all their mirrorless ones, like the 5100, 6100, 6400, all of them are supposedly pretty good in low light conditions. So that's why I'm kind of curious about them. And so I just rented one. We'll see if I really see any difference. The other thing is there could be settings, you know, within OBS, the software that I use. There could be a lot of things going on. But it's easy for me to just hook up a different camera, and if I find that I get better results, then that's simple, you know. I'm going to be looking into a couple things on the streams next year. Might make a few kind of changes on scheduling and stuff like that, but I think I want to try and I don't know, just make them a little bit better here and there, add some more fun stuff, and kind of improve the quality if I can, since I'm kind of looking into it already, you know. Yeah, I already have 2 of the 920s, but the problem is they don't focus on stuff. You can't. They're a complete pain when I actually have to do that. This, I like being able to zoom you know, into things, and I like having the screen, the pop-out screen. Webcams are just, you know, when I'm over at the lathe, I can't see the screen, so I'd have to like move the camera and then go over to the computer. You know, it's just a pain. Like, I'm not going to mess with that. So, you know, cheap handy cams work, but I'm just not particularly happy with the picture anymore. I think that I can do better. So that's why I'm looking into some different stuff. Let me stop this real quick. And yeah, we got a little bit of a ridge there. All right, so let's see how I did. I think I still have some more to take off, yeah. The 920s do look pretty good, but they're difficult to set anything up on. Unless you have just positions that work, that, you know, like if that's one thing I maybe could do, is just have set positions and mount them in place, but I don't do that. Things kind of change, and I gotta, you know, I do different stuff, so I've never really done that. Oh, took a little bit too much off, but it fits pretty well. But I do need to come in and take just a little bit more. It's just a little bit proud, and I want to snug that up to the end here. So that'll also help me kind of this next little cut. I can kind of leave a little bit proud, and that'll also kind of add a little bit of help it kind of snug it up a little bit. It's hard to see what you're doing. Just a little bit more. All right, let's see how I did. Just a little bit more to go. All right. Need to take a little bit of material off the end here. So I couldn't get the tool down in there. Okay, I think we got it now, hopefully. Still got to take a little bit off. I need to get some magnifying glasses, I guess. I'm going to come in here with my little tool. Oh no, I lost it. Okay, let's see how I did. Oh man, what the heck is going on here? There we go. Well, I went in a little too far now. That's what I get. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this thing on, and then the next thing we need to do is bring down the shoulder. In fact, let's see here. I'm going to kind of mark this. Maybe that'll help. Did I get my mark in there? Yeah, okay. So I know what to, that way I know where to come down to on this shoulder to meet up with that. Lots of fiddling. I'm not a big fan of fiddling. But once you get all the fiddling done, then it's just a matter of shaping the handle. The easy stuff. Yeah, I know. I can't see anything. I don't really want to mar this thing. The easy way is to glue it on, and that it's simple, but I don't really want to. I'd rather just try and sneak up on this thing. Obviously, I'm not very good at sneaking up on things. Close enough. Glue it. All right, let's see what we did here. That's pretty close. I'm going to take one more pass. We should have it nailed. We can sand the rest out. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to glue this thing on now. I don't know. Yeah, we'll glue it on later. Not a bad idea to glue it, I think, but don't really need to either. Yeah, I think my knees are the ones. That's what went out first for me. Got a lot of material to take off down at this end. I'm just going to kind of hog, and I'm not going easy on this, you know. I don't really anticipate any problems with the aluminum stuff. But, you know, the one thing about it is I didn't clean them at all. Which I would probably recommend if you're going to cast, you know, shavings that you got from a machine shop. Who knows what kind of stuff they you know, if they were cutting with oils, not really the best thing. I think we might have hit it with some acetone, like dunked it in acetone for a little bit, but that's about it. Those are looking pretty cool. Not too shabby. Just need to kind of clean this up a little bit. I have no clue what shape to do the handle. I kind of like having something, you know, that fits well. On this one, we just kind of did straight, kind of, you know, and this fits pretty well, but I'd actually like it to be a little bit thicker than that if I can. Just kind of taper it in and then probably do kind of, you know, where you want, like, where it's going to hit the middle of your hand. Have that to be a little bit larger, I think. I kind of just went tapered. You know, this is the widest part of the handle on this one. I think I'm going to do kind of the middle be a little bit bigger on this one, on the new one that we're doing today. Yeah, this is negative rake. All right, so a couple things. Let's stop and figure a couple things out here. So if you compare this handle that I already did to this other one, this is about how it would sit. So we're going to part it off probably around in here. You know, that seems pretty reasonable. So let's just do that real quick. I'm not going to part it off, but give myself a little mark. And then the other thing I want to do is just kind of look at this and put it in my hand here. So I would say this part right here needs to be the thickest, okay? That's what we're going to shoot for here. I got a little pencil. Just double check that's where I want it. Yeah. Kind of make it. That area is going to be the thickest part of the handle. So I'm going to come down a little bit each way. I'm going to taper this a little bit more, and then just kind of taper this one down a little bit, and then we're going to be good to go, because I want it to be, you know, maybe a little thinner than that, but not too much. All right, so it's kind of starting to look the way I want. It's pretty lumpy still. Let me just feel how this feels. Yeah, that's not too bad. Still a little bit thick right there. Still a little thick on the end too, I think. I think I'm actually going to move that mark up a little bit. I don't know. Handles are always good to just use your hand to, you know, how does it feel? Stop and check. All right, looking pretty good. I'm going to pull out the CI2 R2. Try and kind of smooth some of this out here. All right, let's stop and see what's happening here. See how this feels. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. Okay, so now at this point, all we really need to do is just kind of smooth things out. Best we can. And then sand it. Okay, let's stop and see what's happening in the chat. What are we working on? Snowmageddon. Oh man, I wish it was Snowmageddon here. We got some pretty good snow the other couple days ago, but you've got to tiptoe. That's the secret to sneaking up on things. Yeah, well, see, that's the problem is I wear a size 14 shoe. So tiptoeing is just not something that I really do much of. All right, so I think we're good. No problems with the blank at all either. We didn't really cut into much of the aluminum, obviously, but the parts that we did cut into are pretty cool. So I can definitely, I'm really curious to see how these things turn out. You know, it's almost like the scalloped segmented pen blanks is what you end up with these things. So I think it's going to be pretty cool in the pen blank when we do that next week. Didn't get a foot. Yeah, actually we did get about a foot, I think. I don't know. I'm not... The ski resorts still don't have like a very big base, mid-mountain base. So I'm not really... And we didn't get any snow in the valley where I live. So there's two things. Like, I'm not that worried about it for snowboarding yet. And I mean, we didn't get any, so it's like, whatever. All right, so I'm going to pull out some 180 grit. I'm going to start there. This thing's not very smooth. Those little metal parts kind of cut a little bit differently. You know, they're a little bit harder material, so it kind of, I don't know, it's sometimes it can be a little bit harder to get a smooth surface when you have, like, you know, varying hardnesses of things right next to each other. And I'm not that smooth that, you know, I don't have a very smooth cut anyway, so we're just going to start at 180. That ought to handle the tool marks. And I think on this one, I'm just going to go, I don't really want to put a finish on this. You know, you could, with, you know, cover the metal up. That might be, you don't really need to or anything. It's just aluminum, but you could, like for a pen blank, I would put a CA finish on something like this. But this is just a handle. So you know, I'm not that worried about it. So it doesn't really need protection, I don't think. And the other thing is I don't think I'm going to buff this because I don't really want to get, what ends up happening is you get black streaks. You end up turning your buffing wheels black if you have metal parts showing. And so I don't think I want to buff this. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to wet sand this thing up to, you know, really high grit of Zona paper, like all the way. And just kind of see how that looks basically. I'm not sure if those black, you know, turning the wheels black does anything to the buffing wheels. I don't really like it though, so I usually try to just kind of stay away from it. Either don't do it or put a finish on top so that you're not buffing actual metal. Still got a few tool marks here and there. Never missed. Yeah, we actually don't have to shovel where we live. Like almost ever. We did have to do a little bit of shoveling, but it's the one nice thing about renting a little apartment. We don't have to do a whole lot. At the same time, we live in a tiny apartment, so that kind of sucks. It's got its upsides, it's got its downsides. Never had to shovel sunshine. No, it's true. Yeah, most people don't shovel. We live in kind of a rural area. So most driveways are just kind of, people just put it in four-wheel drive and plow over it. And we live down in the valley, so it's not like we accumulate, 10 feet of snow over a winter. It just, we may get we may get a nice little storm, but Rarely does the snow stay on the ground much more than a few days. All right, let's move on up to 240 grit. Where are we at time-wise? 4:30, not too bad. That's 120. We don't want 120, we want 240. There we go. Where's my scissors? I'm actually going to wipe this off even. I'm getting pretty good results doing that. Highly recommend it. That just makes sure that we get rid of any 180 grit particles from that sandpaper or anything else might be on there before we go to the 240 grit. Five foot high, 3 foot wide drift. Oh no. Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember growing up, that's how it used to be. We lived on a plow. We were just in like a neighborhood, but we lived on one of the plow routes. And they would, it doesn't snow again. It's kind of the same area that I live now, but every once in a while we got some pretty humdinger storms, and then they'd plow it and it'd be a huge berm that you had to just plow through. Not too big of a deal if you have four-wheel drive, but I mean, if you have a car, you're kind of hosed. All right, I'm going to take some of this down on the end here so I can kind of get in there a little bit better. All right, now it should be a lot easier to sand. Kind of hosed, I'm telling you. Oh yeah, you got hung up on. One year we had a really bad winter when I was in high school, and I was so mad at my tires that I went and bought, and I don't even know if this really helped that much, but I just had some kind of average, whatever, all-terrain tires on my truck. And I was like, I'm done. I went and bought mud terrains, and they just handled it like nothing else. It can be a pain. If you don't have height or, I don't know. It was actually kind of amazing that just the change in tires helped out. But I got it because we were getting these huge berms. It was like I was driving through huge chunks of it. But those things didn't really do too great. They weren't amazing on ice, mud terrain tires, but they sure did handle the thick berms. All right, I think that's probably pretty good. Hopefully we got rid of the 180 grit scratches. Let's clean it off here with some denatured alcohol. I think I'm going to be giving this to my dad too. He's got a couple brass hammers, but I thought he could use a custom one, A little bit of custom hammering. He likes tools. Don't tell him I said that, though. I don't want to ruin the Christmas surprise. The timer is for castings, pen blanks. So I make a batch of 6 blanks and I just leave them in for a couple hours with the Alumilite Clear Slow Set. That lets me know that I can take them out, demold them, and put something else in there. So if you ever hear timers going off, typically that's what's going on. It's telling me that whatever's in the pressure pot can be taken out now. Oh man, Doug's here. What's up? Playing with the puppies. Can you see them? No, I haven't pulled them out yet. It's just a batch of Notre Dame color blanks and my Jamaican Me Crazy ones. Just running a little bit low on them, so. Alright, so that's looking pretty good, I think. So that was 400 grit. Was that 400? Yeah, that was 400. So now we're going to move up to the 750 grit. The green Zona paper. So I think it's around 750 grit. I'm going to cut me a new piece of this stuff. I'm also going to cut a gray one while I'm over here. And a blue one. One of each, really. Let's see here, I need pink. I got some pink, I got turquoise. Not seeing any pink. Ah, there's the pink. It was in the drawer. Okay, so I got my zone of papers. Now I need to go get some water. Cup of water. That's pretty nasty. I'm gonna go get a new cup of water. Let's see here. Where's my cups? There. Yeah. Here we go. All right, so I got to go up front real quick, fill up my cup of water here, and we'll do a little bit of wet sanding. Okay, I'm gonna put some gloves on too. My hands have been getting dried out lately, and so I think the water will not be awesome. Big step in grit, 400 to 750. I don't really think that's too big a step, personally. You could maybe do 600 and then 800, but 400 to, like I said, I don't even know exactly if this is 750, but 400 Abernet to the green Zona paper is not really that far. It works fine. Smurf thumbs, I know. 2x2 hands of blue. For any Firefly fans out there. Yeah, I think it's about 750. I tried to do kind of a calculation, looking up like what because they tell you what micron level it is, but you know that doesn't who knows, right? So I was trying to kind of figure out a grit to micron conversion, and I found something. It's probably pretty close to about 750. It's somewhere probably between 6 and 800. I'm pretty certain about that. Yeah, what I converted, 750 is green, 1150 is pink. That's probably about all I did. I don't know. Let's see. I have my little conversion chart here. Zone of blue, maybe around 2500. That seems odd. I don't know. Honestly. I'm not even sure. I would either go 400 then 600 and then this, or just 400 and then green. I mean, worst case scenario, you just got to spend a couple more seconds with the green if it is a little bit of a, you need to take care of some extra sanding marks. All right, let's see how we're doing here. It's looking pretty good, I think. Let's move up to the gray. Starting to kind of clear up. You can see as you go along in the grits with the micro mesh, it just gets kind of clearer and clearer. I don't know how well you guys can see. I gotta move the thing. Hold on. Hands are all wet. Starting to look pretty good. Let's see how it does. Does the camera do okay? Yeah, it does okay. I put it on like automatic functions. Seems like it's actually doing better than what I had it on. Crazy spirals, kind of dizzying if you stare at it too much. All right, let's see how this is looking. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty silky. And frankly, you know, for something like this, like a mallet, that, you know, and this is something that it's not going to be like a showpiece. Like, I expect my dad to actually use this thing. You could actually polish this down a little bit, like go up to like 2000 grit, and maybe try to use like one of the like a random orbit sander or something, and put kind of a random scratch pattern on there, and it'll just be kind of hazy. But if you want to go up for you know, glossy, obviously you got to go higher than that. But it is going to get kind of scratched up anyway, so it's kind of, you know, you can go a couple different ways with this. Keeping it a little bit more, you know, lower, like a lower grit, kind of more of like a satin finish, is also going to kind of hide that drill hole a little bit more if you have transparent resin down there. So just a couple thoughts, you know, things that you could, different ways you could go with this. All right, so we'll go to the blue. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna try and, you know, get it pretty glossy. We're gonna go all the way through all the grits. Yeah, Jim, I have a video. It's pretty simple though. I mean, you basically, once the resin's hard in the cup, then you just peel it out, pop it out. Pretty simple. And that's for paint, you know, like the paint mixing cups. You know, like these HDPE. I got HDMI cables on my mind from that camera. As long as it's an HDPE cup. Now, if you're using like a Dixie cup, that's not going to work. Those are just throwaways. I'm gonna put my ShamWow down first here. What the heck is going on? Okay. Back to the blue. And each grit, when you got that water on there, it gets even clearer. Kind of see through there. This thing's pretty cool looking. I like it. I'm actually pretty excited. I was messing around on Amazon. I think somebody asked me about cups or I don't know something, but I was searching on Amazon, and I found TCP Global has, I think, 20-ounce paint mixing cups, which I don't think I've ever seen anyone have those before. So I might, that was one of the things. Costco doesn't sell the Dixie cups that I usually use for all the, you know, the clear ones. And so I don't know that I really want to have to hunt them down. So I might switch to those. I might try those out. It's tough because I like certain sizes for the pen blanks that I sell. I have kind of muscle memory on stuff, and I get better results basically when I'm pouring certain things with certain cups because I've done it so many times. So I'm hoping that they're about the same size and I can just use those kind of reusable cups. That'll be pretty cool. Save some money. All right. Seems like it should be good enough. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Twyla. Thanks for joining the fun tonight. A couple little scratches here and there. I'm not that worried if there's like a scratch here or a scratch there. My dad has worse eyesight than me, so and it's a tool handle, so I'm not that worried about this. But I prefer buffing wheels. I seem to be able to get, like, if I can get it up to that there are no deeper scratches than like the green Zona papers or the gray ones. I usually go to gray. If I can get it to that, there's no scratches lower than that, then the buffing wheels take care of the rest. So I kind of have, I don't know, they're very consistent. I sometimes find that when I just try to polish something up with just papers all the way, like, micro mesh, I always had this issue with pens when back in the day with micro mesh, and this is kind of the same thing. There'd always just be like a scratch or two that just were kind of persistent. Part of it may be that I don't switch water every time with every grit. I will admit that could be problematic, but I don't really want to have a different cup for every every grit, or have to go switch it out every time. So I don't know. Buffing wheels just seem to give me the most consistently good results. But I don't want to get black all over these, my buffing wheels, because of the metal in this handle. So we'll just do a very, very good job of polishing. I'm trying to give each grit a good amount of time here. Get all the scratches out. If you fill the drill hole, it may kind of disappear. I've never found that to really work amazingly well. It still sticks out. And like I said, I don't mind. I like seeing it personally. So it's just like, there's something happening on there. Some work went into that somehow. So I don't mind, but yeah, you could fill it if you want. But I think you might get kind of, I don't know, it may not be amazing results every time. Maybe somebody else has done it a little bit more. A lot of times people fill like stopper things. They'll paint the glue, Is that what I'm thinking of? Painting with glue? I don't know. Okay, so we got done with the turquoise one. Hopefully that was the right, I might have done that backwards. Shoot. I don't go much higher than gray or blue. Where's my cheat sheet? Shoot. I think it might be pink then. Anybody know? Is it pink and then turquoise? Or turquoise then pink? I think it's pink then turquoise. Where did my little cheat sheet thing go? It's missing. Ah, there it is. Yeah, pink and then aqua. Shoot. So we're gonna go down. We're gonna go down, back down to pink. Oopsie. Then we'll go back up to turquoise. Yeah, you can fill it with glow powder. That'd be cool. Uh-oh, we lost our light. Background light. That's okay. This thing's looking pretty clear here so far. What's your guys' view? Yeah. I think the stream will be even cooler if I can do 60 frames per second. I think my internet can handle it. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to give it some... We'll do some trial runs with everything. So next week, probably, if I do a stream, it'll probably be like Tuesday. Or, well, I don't know. Monday, Tuesday, I don't know. I'm not sure what day it's going to be. It's not going to be Friday. I'm not sure if I'll be in the shop Wednesday either. Let's see. What day is Wednesday? Is that the 23rd? I guess it could be Wednesday maybe. So just keep your eyes peeled. I'll just have to figure out what my schedule is, and I'll let you guys know when I'm going to go live. It'll probably be turning one of these types of blanks to one of the pen blanks with this stuff in it. And then we'll probably do that giveaway. We'll pick a winner. I don't know how I'll do that, but I got a box of blanks. So somebody who shows up to the live part will win that. All right, so we're going to wipe this off now. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. There's a couple little scratches here and there. Might be a little bit deeper, but like I said, I'll be all right with it. Now we're going to do the teal. Yeah, that might work on Wednesday then. Tuesday, I probably wouldn't. I don't know. It's tough. We record the podcast on Tuesdays. It's kind of hard to do another thing on Tuesdays too. Maybe Wednesday. Maybe even Monday though. I'm not sure. We'll just have to kind of see. It also kind of depends on what happens with orders and stuff. Inventory levels over the weekend. If I have to make blanks on Monday, then we might have to do it Wednesday. So we'll have to see. But I am anxious to do some testing with it, and I might even do some just impromptu stuff where I'm not really doing anything, just kind of testing that camera a little bit. So just kind of keep your eyes peeled. We might have some fun. I only have like a week and a half with that thing. I think I rented it for like 2 weeks, so realistically, I'm only going to have about a week and a half or so with it. So I need to kind of get my testing done kind of sooner rather than later, It's looking pretty good. So then the last grit is the white one, and this one's kind of crazy because you can barely tell which side is actually the grit and which one's not the grit. So I usually don't go this high with these, but I got my white. Let's go for it. Do a little bit of polishing here. There are a few little scratches here and there, so one thing that I've found also is the Shello wax paste stuff, that stuff actually uses triple E, which I think, I'm guessing that whatever's in, I'm guessing that triple E grit, or whatever, abrasive, is coarser than what you get in like the Yorkshire grits and all those things, because the Shello Wax seemed to work pretty well. That's not a bad product. I could maybe use that on this and see if I can take out some of those finer scratches, but I'd have to go back up and polish, with the higher papers. So I think, like I said, it's a tool handle. I'm not that worried about it, if it's absolutely perfect or not. Unless you're scrutinizing it under a high intensity light, I don't think you'll know. All right, Dustin, have a good one. Okay, I'm going to call it quits on this polishing stuff. Yeah, still some scratches on it. Definitely, I like buffing better. I get better results doing it that way. But if you turn the light out, it looks great. Yeah. I don't know. I may end up buffing this before I wrap it up and just clean my wheels off. All right, so let's part this guy off. And then I'm just going to glue on the little ferrule part. And I'll let that sit overnight, and then we're done, basically. So let's get a parting tool out here. Got my 1/8 inch Carter & Sons. I don't need these gloves on anymore. Can you guys see? You're zoomed way in. Here we go. So where do I want the bottom? I kind of lost my mark. I think right there. Did we make this with Amazing Clearcast Plus? I think we might have. Let me go look at the notes. I'm kind of curious now. Kind of smells like epoxy. So I'm gonna go look at my notes real quick on this one. I made this on the stream. Let's see here. So swing, packing material, pine cone ornaments. Yeah, that was Amazing Clearcast. That turned pretty well. It just kind of smelled like epoxy when I was cutting that, and I was like, huh, let me look that up. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I usually suck at this. Whoa. What just happened there? Got it. It wasn't very pretty. It's kind of wobbly. Getting a little crazy there. All right, of work, getting that thing taken off. I'm actually just gonna take a chisel. I think there is a little bit of metal in there, but I think my chisel will take this off. Just kind of nibble away at this. You could just use a sander if you wanted, but I'll make sure that your fingers are not in line to get taken off by the blade. I guess I'm not on camera. I had to get it kind of closer to my body to hold it. There we go. It's pretty rough on the bottom. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of sanding. I think the easiest way to go is just put a sanding pad in the chuck there. So let's do that real quick. Liquid polish, yeah, it doesn't really work as well without buffing wheels. I find that that's the best way to go with that stuff for me. And there's other like pastes and things, but really, I've tried all of them, and like I said, I get the best results just using my normal methods, going up to that gray and then just hitting it with the Triple E white diamond. That's the best way for me. That's the nice thing about handles. You know, I can always go back and, you know, buff this out more. The scratches that I'm seeing are definitely would be taken out with buffing wheels. It's just a matter of, do I want to have to clean my buffing wheels? You know, and considering it's going to be a tool that should be used, I don't know that I'm that worried about it because it's just going to get scratched anyway. We'll see though. We'll see what I end up doing. What am I doing here? I gotta put my tools away and then pull out my, let's see. I think we'll go with the, I think what I'm going to do is switch the jaws out on this. We'll go with the pin jaws, and then where's my, Carl's always talking about how fast he is. I am not fast changing this. It's already pretty fast, obviously. But these races, I'm like, what? I can't keep up with that. I'm just not fast enough. I am not an athlete in the Chuck Olympics. So let's try this out. I usually use a, what are they called? I usually use a collet chuck with this, a 1/4-inch collet chuck. But I'm kind of curious to see how the pin jaws work for something like this. I don't know if they go small enough. No. Never mind. We're going to go with the trusty old collet chuck. I wasn't sure how small these things went. Not small enough. You could also just use your drill chuck, but since I've got one of these guys, may as well just use it. My only problem is I don't have the tools like the spanner wrench to hold it in place. So I never get it really that tight. I want to get one of the Beal collet chuck systems someday. All right, and then we'll put some sandpapers on here. I'm going to start with 180 maybe. Let's see if 180 works. And I'm going to move you guys on the other side and plug the camera in while we're doing this. There we go. Okay. So this makes it pretty simple to kind of clean something up like this. Just a little disc, you know, little mini disc sander. Could have maybe started at 120. But I think the 180 will get this flattened out in a hurry. I got the lathe running about 500. Plenty of speed. Just about got everything flattened out here. Clean out my pad there. All right, so we got that all flattened down. I'm gonna just kind of hit the corner here because it's real sharp. Just kind of do a little bit of quick sanding with the 180. Just to kind of ease the edge, and then we're just gonna go up through the grits now. So that was 180. 240 is next. Let's see if I can find 240. And all I do to cut these things out is I just grab, you know, a piece of, let's see, there's the 400. Do I have a 240 somewhere? I just grab a piece, so I buy the Abernet in these rolls. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to take this off. Where's my scissors? Oh, drop the scissors. That's no good. So what I do is I just stick it on there, right? Cut it out. And you can just buy the little discs if you want, but and then I just cut around it, so I don't need to buy discs. There we go, 240 grit coming up. All right, then we'll move up to 400 grit. Whoa, I almost dropped it. I think I'm going to give in and just go for the buffing. Buffing is definitely going to be a lot faster on this thing. So what I'm going to do now is I just hand polish this with the Zona. Where's my little ShamWow thing? All right. So what I'll do is we'll move on to the green from there. I do so much better with with my normal routine of things, which I think most of us usually do. You got a good way of doing something, you're usually better at that. So we'll just get this up to the gray grit, and then I'm just going to head over to the buffing wheel and go for the triple E. We'll get this thing nice and scratch free and polished up. And then what I do, I can just clean those wheels. You can either take sandpaper to your buffing wheels, or they even have these little like I don't know what they're called, buffing wheel cleaner things. So I'll just clean them up to get rid of what ends up happening is the metal will cause your wheels to turn black. Now I'm not sure if that really affects anything or not, but I'd rather just not have that. I'd rather just clean it up. Okay, so we got that one. It's looking good. And then we got gray. All right, and we're done. So let's head over to the buffing wheels. Like I said, I'm just not super thrilled with. There's a few scratches that I don't like, so let's see if we can get rid of them. That's what I would normally do. I'm just going to spin you guys around. It's going to be kind of zoomed out a little bit, but you guys know the drill on the buffing wheels. I'm going to put my mask on. You don't want to be breathing the dust that comes off of these things. It's abrasive dust. Not something you want in your lungs. So first wheel, we're doing triple E. Battery's dead. Oh man. I kind of figured. Okay, we got another one ready to go. Okay, so, and that didn't actually turn too much of my wheel black, so that's nice. And then white diamond is next. All right. Let's see how this thing looks. So I'm just gonna kind of set the ferrule on there. Let's bring you guys, oh, plugged in. We'll just kind of stick the ferrule on there and act like it was glued on. Okay, so we got our ferrule. And we got our little threaded rod here. Grab a Allen key. It's probably enough. And let's put on our brass head. Boom. That thing's pretty wicked. Let me turn this light off. That is a pretty nice hammer right there. That feels good in the hand. And it just looks cool with that stuff in there. What do you guys think? See if we can get a straight down shot. That might actually be a better angle for colors. Maybe not. That's another thing those Sony cameras have. They have like really fast and accurate tracking and autofocusing. So we'll be trying some Sony camera out here soon. Pretty wicked. That's going to be a good present, I think. What do you guys think? feels really good in my hand. That's a nice, I like the shape of that handle. I did good. So I still want to glue that ferrule on. But, you know. All right, so let's see here. Let me move. What do we need to do here? What do I need to do? So I don't need to bring the camera over. I guess we just need to switch camera views over to here. There we are. So pretty good. And the buffing wheels didn't really turn too black, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty cool looking. We're not getting very good lighting. It looks good in person. The lights are kind of messed up right here. And again, I like seeing the threads because you have like threads that are cutting through these spiral things. Let me go get the camera real quick so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. But I really like that. I'm a big fan of that. Seeing the innards of things like that, even though it may not be like super pretty. Let's get this thing set up over here so I can kind of, and I'm going to get a light on it. Try and get you guys a good view with good lighting and everything. Okay. Maybe now. All right, here we go. Oh, I didn't switch cameras. I can't see. Turning that one. Okay. There we go. A little bit better lighting maybe. See how it kind of cuts through the threads or the spirals, kind of cut through the threads cut through the spirals in there. Personally, I kind of like that. Like I said, it's kind of interesting. I definitely didn't need to go as deep as I did with the drill hole. So just one thing to think about. But, and so the way that how I should have figured out the depth for the drill hole, the proper way to do it, now that I'm thinking about it, would have been, oh well, I'm trying to get this thing unscrewed. What you would want to do is screw that thing in and then measure, but you need to make sure that you get all the way down, but measure that. That's all that you're going to need to, that would be the most that it would be. And if you, let's see, just to give you guys, if anyone wants to pick this up, where's my I lost my calipers. What the heck? Nope. Nope. Oh, there they are. All right, so I got my calipers out here. Let's see what the depth actually is on this. So you're looking at 1 and a little bit over a half. You know, see that's really all that you would really need to do at the most. If you didn't screw this all the way into the brass head, maybe, you know, there would be a little bit more kind of sticking out then. But anyway, We got a little bit more of a drill hole in there, but that's not that big of a deal. Pretty sweet. I don't think I showed you the bottom yet. Digging it. So next week we're going to turn one of those pen blanks. Let's see what colors we got. We got red, purple, and teal. So I don't know which one I'm going to go with. Let's get these monitors fixed again. Nope, wrong one. So we got red, purple, and teal. I'm not sure which way I want to go with that. I kind of like it's the blurple, you know, with the color shift powder. Leaning towards that one. I like the red. Frankly, I like all of them. I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know. I'll have to pick one. Maybe I'll just do a random number generator or something like that. Nice. Yeah, hodgepodge. The brass mallets are really handy too. I use mine all the time. You know, if I'm just trying to, I don't know, set up things and you just need to barely tap something, it has that mass, you know, but it's not going to mar metal things. It's really good for setting things up, you know, that are metal, for sure. But it also, you know, I mean, it's got some serious mass. It'll whack, you know, if you gotta smack something, it's a good hammer to have in your kit. So anyway, let's see here. Yeah, for firearms, that would be cool. It's really cool for machining. Like if you know, my dad's a machinist and he's always like just tapping, you know, fixtures into place. If you're setting up tools or adjusting things on them, it works really well. I don't know. There's a million uses for these that you really wouldn't want to pull out a hammer, you know, like a regular hammer that's steel. You want the brass, and that's why they're so nice. But they're really fun to make. Like I said, even though I kind of, you know, I kind of didn't sneak up on the ferrule length, you know, that shoulder. Nobody's gonna see it. You know, when I screw this thing in here, well, you can kind of see a little bit, but I mean, really, nobody's gonna see that. There's like a little tiny thing sticking out, you know. So none of these things are super critical. Pretty easy to put together. But really fun kit to turn. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this thing come together. I'm going to have to wrap that up for my dad. And like I said, the only other thing that I need to do is I'm going to glue this ferrule on right there. I'll just put a little bit of 5-minute epoxy on there and just, you know, probably just kind of screw it on there. So let's see, is there any questions? I don't think so. Tiptoeing at its most elegant. Yeah, that's me sneaking up on it. One thing that I could do, I do have a little bit of room. If I really was crazy, I could remount this thing, or when it was mounted before, I could have taken just a tiny bit off the front, because I think the insert's a little bit lower than the shoulder, but it does, like I said, it doesn't matter. It looks fabulous. I'm nitpicking things with this. So anyway, guys, so we're gonna do next week sometime. I'm thinking maybe look for Monday or Wednesday, and I'll try and we'll turn one of these pens up. I got to get one of these guys ready, and probably be doing. Hopefully I'll get the one thing that I don't have is, of course, the HDMI cable. It's like micro HDMI to HDMI, always something, right? So hopefully I'll get that in. I ordered that, and I also needed the battery cable thing. So as long as those come on Sunday, then, you know, Monday or Wednesday will be good. We'll be testing out that new camera that I rented to see if I'm going to switch to that. And I think that's about it. So let's see here. Do the red one. Yeah, I like the red one. I like them all. I'm not sure. I guess that's about it. So we should have a new podcast episode up soon. It was a pretty fun episode that we just did. So be looking for that. It's up on iTunes. Let's see, iTunes, Google Play. I think we might be on Spotify now. Casey was looking into that, and what's the other one? SoundCloud. Did I say that already? All the major ones. You can find that, and definitely subscribe. And actually, one other thing, guys, if you guys do listen to the podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you do a review on iTunes or wherever you listen. It's hard to. It's a big thing to ask people to go do that. It's not as easy as like the thumbs up button on YouTube. You have to actually go somewhere and kind of do that. But if you guys have nothing else to do and want to help the show out, the podcast, leave one of those reviews for us on especially on iTunes. That's a big one, and anywhere else that does that. I'd really appreciate that. So anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna be heading out. Oh, I'm glad that you. I'm not. I don't know. That was kind of a messed up way of doing it. This is only the second time I've done this kit, and sometimes I don't know. I'm just. Without thinking, I can turn a pen, no matter what. They're just so simple. Sometimes when you have a few extra steps and you're kind of like, I haven't done this, you learn on a couple times after you've done it, and then you'll get this thing nailed. There's not much to it, obviously, but hopefully it was fun for you guys. And yeah, so I hope you have a great weekend. If I don't see you guys for some reason, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, so should be doing something next week. We'll fire something up. It may not be very long or whatever, but we'll play with that new camera. Hopefully, turn a pen maybe. We'll have a giveaway, and then after that, so basically for the rest of the year, just be kind of looking on social media. I'll let you guys know when I do live streams. It'll be kind of all up in the air. I'm going to be kind of playing around with things, new equipment, testing things out, and just kind of having some fun. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you guys on the next stream.